The US and UK governments are investigating reports that chemical weapons have been used by Russia in the besieged southern Ukrainian port of Mariupol. In his nightly address, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy urged the West to do all it could to deter the Kremlin from using such weapons. Elsewhere, officials in the eastern Ukrainian region of Luhansk say Russian tanks have started advancing for a renewed assault.
A playground turned battleground in Ukraine's east, where pro-Russian troops claim to be liberating Ukrainians held hostage. Ukraine says Russian tanks have begun advancing towards the eastern Donbas region for a renewed offensive. As battle rages in the besieged city of Mariupol, Ukraine's Azov regiment say Russian drones have dropped chemicals, causing breathing problems and vertigo-like symptoms, after a pro-Russian military spokesman threatened smoking out Ukrainian defenders of a major steel plant there.
Ukrainian leaders on Monday said tens of thousands of people have likely been killed in Russia's assault on the southeastern city of Mariupol. Reuters has confirmed widespread destruction but could not verify the number of those killed in the city. If confirmed, it would be by far the largest number of dead so far reported in one place in Ukraine, where cities, towns, and villages have come under relentless bombardment, and bodies, including civilians, have been scattered in the streets. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Monday pleaded for military aid to South Korean lawmakers, saying Russia intended to destroy the city.
Mariupol has been destroyed. There are tens of thousands of dead. But even despite this, the Russians are not stopping their offensive.
Ukraine dominated Monday's summit and strategic dialogue between top U.S. and Indian officials. That's because despite nearly 7 weeks of war, Delhi has refused to condemn Moscow's decision to invade or back international efforts to hold it accountable, whether via sanctions or suspension from the UN Human Rights Council. Before the cameras, U.S. President Joe Biden and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi were quick to agree. Civilians are paying the highest price, including in Bucha and Kramatorsk.
We immediately condemned it, and we demanded an independent inquiry. We hope that the talks going on between Ukraine and Russia will lead to peace.
Shehbaz Sharif is sworn in as Pakistan's 23rd Prime Minister following days of political turmoil in the country. In his first speech as Prime Minister, the 70-year-old emphasized his government's priorities.
If we are to rescue the sinking ship, there is no other solution but to seek unity, unity, and unity. We need dialogue and not the deadlock to strengthen democracy and revive the economy.
Unlike his predecessor Imran Khan, Shehbaz has avoided using rhetoric against the United States. Instead, he has sought better ties with all, including India. Shehbaz is the younger brother of Pakistan's 3-time Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif.
Heavy rains caused by a summer tropical depression have killed at least 25 people in central and southern Philippines. According to officials, most of these deaths were caused due to the landslides that occurred as a result of the rain. At least 6 other people were reported missing in the landslides, and a search is currently underway. Although the rescue work was hampered by mud and heavy rain, some residents managed to escape or were pulled out of the mud alive, but many are still feared to be trapped. As per the officials, nearly 200 floods were reported in different areas in central and southern provinces over the weekend. These floods have displaced about 30,000 families, some of whom were moved to emergency shelters.
Joe Biden is under pressure. Gun violence is ticking up, so is violent crime. The White House knows it has to be seen to be trying to get a grip of the problem.
That's why I put together a comprehensive strategy to supercharge what works.
One of the main areas of focus, so-called ghost guns. They can be built from a kit. You don't need a background check, and they have no serial numbers.
This is the gun. It's not hard to put together.
That makes them unregulated and virtually untraceable. That can't stand, says the president.
But let me ask you, is it extreme to protect police officers, extreme to protect our children, extreme to keep guns out of the hands of people who couldn't even pass a background check?
For the second night in a row, the holy site of Joseph's tomb has been defaced. This comes after the site in the northern western bank city of Nablus was set ablaze on Saturday by a Palestinian mob from the nearby Balata refugee camp, causing damage to the tomb and shrine.
Palestinians vandalized Joseph's tomb overnight. Dozens of Palestinian rioters, in a frenzy of destruction, simply vandalized a holy place for us, the Jews. We will not tolerate such an attack on a place that is holy for us on the eve of Passover, and will reach the rioters.
Identified as the resting place of the biblical Joseph, the tomb is seen as sacred not only to Jews, but also to Muslims, Christians, and Samaritans alike.